Well, this has been a year of so many firsts in cricket, and hasn't the IPL retention deadline clock delivered on the same promise? We've had in the past few weeks news of the first blockbuster trade in the IPL's history. We are standing potentially on the cusp of the first instance of Punjab Kings being the quietest over a player release cycle, and the rumor mill is still going abuzz. We have been abuzz, and so we bring to you Chatter Live just ahead of IPL retention deadline day. Raunak Kapoor, Nagraj Gollapudi, thank you for your time. Dustin Silgardo will join us soon, and Raunak, I suppose. Oh, Dustin has joined right on cue. It's almost like I'm Nagraj. I'm
Sorry.
calling the shots, and they are happening. Dustin, I was informing Ronak that the three of us can stay quiet for most of the next hour because the man in the hot seat is our own Sherlock, Nagraj Gollapudi. Welcome.
Stop it, man.
I'm just going to go to a roundup of what Nagraj has been called: Sherlock, Isaac Newton, Digvesh Rathi, uh, in a few years' time, among other things. Imran Tahir. So yeah, just go for it, Nagraj.
Great comparisons.
Which of those celebrations do you want to bring to the table, Nagraj?
I can't run away like Tahir to some place, so I will stay here.
Yeah,
I
please
just-
don't. Please don't. Not for the next hour, at least. We'll let you go
yeah,
after that. I can
yeah.
already see lots of questions pouring in. We will be taking a lot of your questions because there are still so many rumors. But let's start with perhaps one biggest player or one biggest unresolved question that remains for the 10 franchises. One of which I thought at the start of the day would be unresolved, but it looks like that has reached a resolution, Nagraj, with news, with reports emerging that Mohammad Shami, Sunrisers to LSG, is a done deal.
Yeah, done, done, done. It was locked for some reason. It was stalled for a day, uh, and put me on
I,
like,
I
yeah.
can give
Go.
the
What do you say?
reason.
Yeah, you can give the reason.
Go on,
Yeah.
Ronak.
N- Go on.
No, that this was a conversation that was triggered a few days back, but there was one franchise that had a conversation with Shami once they learned that he's on his way out of SRH and whether he would entertain the thought of entering the auction to give said franchise the chance to pick him up, but it would have been in the form of the auction and not the route via the trade. So that was what perhaps stalled it, but otherwise this is now what was triggered 48 hours back. I think has gone through to LSG.
Yeah, it's quite an
Nagraj?
interesting pick. Yeah, it was quite an interesting pick when the first I heard it. I was like, wow. I mean, this might be a win-win for SRH because we discussed about it earlier. We didn't put out that chat. It was a divided house in SRH on whether to retain Shami for all the experience he has, for all the skill sets he has, and whether we wait for him and be patient and tolerant about him coming back in 2026 season after considering that he's been playing Ranji Trophy, but at the same time the age he is and etc. and what based on what performance he had and especially the numbers that he had at in the first 6 overs in Hyderabad, that probably kind of counted against him, and of course the price point was high, so they thought that maybe best. And I think the trade offer came only, Ronak can also confirm, the trade offer came just in the last 3 days. And so immediately things happened, took on quickly, and the trade was finalized. And I think we just wait now for the formalities to finish an IPL to announce it.
Yeah,
All right.
on me, one thing I will say is that I think it gives us an insight into the SRH philosophy of bowlers that have to have a versatility in different phases and that have to have defensive skill sets because there's only so much that they believe a bowler who can swing the ball with a new ball can impact at the Rajiv Gandhi Stadium. And I think sometimes it's a little harsh on Shami, who came back after missing a whole season of IPL. His best years for GT was after a break, after injury, and even in that 1 year, that was the year SRH really changed the language of the IPL, right? With the kind of
Yeah.
approach they went with. And I think Shami, as well as Jofra Archer, Matt Roller made that point on our panel during the IPL 2025, that it took a little time for them to realize that a certain length that was giving them success was now being taken down rather easily. So it was almost a bit of a shock. And even for experienced bowlers, it took some time. So the question SRH would have asked themselves is, can we give Shami another season and see if he's more cooked, more sort of prepared to bowl slightly differently? but is that and weigh that up with his price point as well as his age, and I think eventually that's what took the longest time. That he was once they reached the decision he was going to be on his way out. Whether he would reach the auction or the or a trade to another franchise was the only question, and it clearly looks like Lucknow Super Giants are interested in Mohammad Shami, uh, and that's something we can talk about a little in detail on what this means for Lucknow to pick up Shami ahead of the auction.
Yes, let's go straight there. Dustin, it automatically links to the one question mark that has been surrounding Lucknow Super Giants and whether they would retain, say, a Mayank Yadav at 11 crore and not having played much. So, what can we make of this?
Yeah, Lucknow last year was a team with a lot of different seam bowling all rounders, but then no one with the kind of experience that Shami has. There's Avesh there, of course, so he's the lead bowler. But apart from that, I think they probably tried the most number of seamers of any other team because Mayank played, of course, a few games in the middle. You had Akashdeep playing. Mohsin Khan didn't play any games in the entire season. He was injured, but you had Prince Yadav tried out, Akash Singh tried out. I think that there are bowlers there who have potential, I think, amongst the younger seamers, but they're looking for someone who has that experience and can come in the power play and get a few wickets early on, and then they'll probably rely on Avesh as more a death bowler. I guess the question is both for Shami and for LSG, like why do a trade? On the one hand, for Shami, did he feel that he would have not got this amount had he gone into the auction? Right? Because since it's a
No,
one-way trade,
yeah.
so
I
that would
think
have been
personally,
a
I feel, yeah, it's a very good question. Somebody else raised that point. It's a good question, smart thing. But I think the one factor that played in this trade and whose name probably won't be taken much, and I think has influenced is Bharat Arun, who is the former India coach who had a very close rapport with Mohammad Shami, and he would have definitely thought about Shami because Dustin, you're saying that experienced hand works a lot because even if you don't play, you can be mentoring those bowlers, and I'm sure Moody and the others, the owners and Justin Langer would have agreed with Arun about it. And Arun has worked closely with Shami. He understands Shami very well, what works for him, what doesn't work for him, when to give him the break, and how to kind of rev him up. So I think that will come. And Shami is also in a way going home. He's from originally from Uttar Pradesh, and the kind of pitches. I mean, the best part was, what? Before we broke the story, LSG social is amazing. They kind of do something smart things. They just they just announce the news like so easily by bringing up Shami's performance against England in the 2023 World Cup, which was where I think wasn't he the topmost
Yeah.
wicket taker in the tournament, and that's
that,
where
that England game at Lucknow was like
yeah.
the one Shami kind of really
Yeah.
roared and announced himself upon returning to the 11 post the Hardik Pandya injury. So that
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
told one of the balls of the tournament in that sense. And what kind of, I mean, like
10
he can,
balls.
yeah,
yeah.
he was
Yeah.
So
absolutely
one of the
Stokes for
spells, and if Shami in a rhythm is, I mean, Bumrah and all is fine, but Shami in a rhythm with that seam, it's really a fast bowler's dream in that sense. So yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Arun did play a part, and so. And I think it also signifies, which we should bring up here, is probably one of their fast bowlers will be released. And I think we touched upon this, the which I think our bets are on Akashdeep, who was
Hmm.
at similar price point around 8 crores or something. So
8.
in a
Yes.
way, LSG don't kind of suffer that big a hole in their this. So Akashdeep goes out and Shami comes in, and yeah.
To just address the second part of that point on whether it would have benefited Shami going into the auction, I think in the small auction it would have. I think there would have been a lot of teams that would have had perhaps in the 15 to 20 crore balance purse and not a lot of gaps to fill. And I think they would have been happy to go all out and maybe get a Shami for a 12 or a 13. So I think he would have actually got more had he gone into the auction. That's one point. But the Bharat Arun factor that Nagraj brings, that's the kind of equation relationship where you have trust, where you know that you're likely going to be a key part of their bowling plans. This is a bowling side that is heavily dependent on Indian fast bowlers, right?
Yeah.
And therefore that comfort zone of going to a franchise where you'll be perhaps a little more confident of the role you're going to play is something that Shami might have decided it's worth being traded and missing out on a couple of crore. And a couple of crore, I mean, it's life changing for Dustin, Yash, and me, not so much for Nagraj and Shami. So those are the kind of decisions you can make.
Sambit Bal, please listen. My reserve price should be increased
But
now.
but this is a good
Dustin.
point Raunak makes that that players are clearly looking for trades because they would rather the certainty of knowing where they're going rather than the uncertainty of the auction. Another example is Shardul Thakur going to MI for basically his base price, right? It's 1.5 or is it 2 crore or
Two.
1.5?
Two.
2 crore.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
And clearly there, I mean, he could have taken a chance and
we,
gone
we are
into the
still not
auction.
sure what the number for the
Oh,
negotiated amounts are different.
okay,
So we
okay.
need to wait on
Oh yeah,
that.
yeah, and that is an official thing that you can negotiate an amount and with the franchise,
Right, right.
but the purse is still the same, right?
As
It's
per
definitely
the
the
Right.
same.
previous. Yes.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm guessing with Shardul, similar to Shami, a big part of the reason that he wants the trade is that he would rather go to MI than go into the auction and not know who buys him because this is his home franchise and he probably wants to play for this franchise. So that's also, I just wanted to make that point that that's part of
I
what
think that's a
players
good
are thinking.
point. I wanted to actually ask this question, even though he went unsold at the big auction when a lot of teams were building their entire squad. I actually think Shardul would have been an in-demand player at a small auction with the uncertainty around so many fast bowlers. So I think Shardul might have gone for a pretty high amount, almost 3 times the price. I wouldn't be surprised if he would have gone into the auction, gone at 6-8 crores. So that trade, yeah, it's again, you know where you're going, you know the management, ownership, whatnot. But I was a little surprised from just Shardul's own point that I think he would have commanded a lot more value or interest at this auction. I could be wrong, and we'll never find out now. But just putting it out there.
And how much would Arjun Tendulkar have fetched in the auction?
Moving
Arjun,
on. Wha-
Arjun Tendulkar was not going to go into the auction, right? He would either have been retained or
Yeah, he
he
wouldn't have gone into the auction. Yeah.
been
That's
released.
true.
So, yeah.
Before we close the lid on Lucknow, Mayank Yadav still remains a big topic of interest. There's still a lot of viewer interest about whether Lucknow will retain him or is he released? What do we gather?
Wait and watch. Maybe something will come out soon.
What does that mean?
Well, something, right? Something will come up anyway. We'll be knowing soon. As of now, yeah, I mean, retain, release. People
Is
will
there
take
any
it.
information on his fitness status, Nagraj? Anything at all?
Yeah, so as we spoke in the LSG chatter earlier, a couple of days back, he started, I think, loading. He soon will start bowling or has resumed a little bit of bowling. And by February types, I think they expect him to be around 85%, is what I heard. So now February is like just about, yeah. So a month before IPL, I think probably he might just start bowling full throttle. So yeah, I mean that's where. So hence, it just tells me that I wouldn't rule out him being retained. I wouldn't.
All right.
People will look at the purse. People will say that okay, LSG can actually go for, but there's not going to be that many bowlers, and this skill set will be something that LSG will be very very concerned about, like having a extreme fast bowler, which I don't see in the auction list coming up soon, in the mini auction especially.
All right, we will wait and watch on that. Before I move to some of the other teams, there's a lot of questions coming, and in particular, one theme which has been one of the internet's favorite rumors today is this rumor talk of a Maxwell trade to CSK. Anyone?
Yes. Okay.
Yes,
Can I say
Lots.
something? Let me
you are
just
the one
say,
to say everything.
no, it's definitely not CSK. And I
Ah,
think
Oh, but there is a team that is basically looking
You,
for Maxwell.
no,
That is asking about.
no.
can you say
Let's just dispel all rumors. I don't think
so?
it's just like
Can you
any.
say eight more things and which team it's definitely not? That'll be nice.
Yeah, let's just keep it cryptic, but CSK no chance.
all right.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing our comments right now, and there's the people who've just gone Glenn Maxwell, Rachin Ravindra, swap CSK Punjab.
No.
So,
Okay,
all right.
but let's get back to LSG for a second because the other name that Nagraj had mentioned is like a maybe is Ravi Bishnoi. So what's the word on that? Is Bishnoi, is it still a maybe or is have they made a decision one way or the other?
For the moment, maybe.
Okay.
But
Though I think
Okay.
the
But
decision has been
Nagraj,
made.
if they are leaning towards retain, then lean to your right. If they're leaning towards release, lean to your left.
no, he was saying something. He was saying the decision has been made. Something like that.
I
He
think
was
the
done.
decision has been made. I think the
And
decision
he's
has been
standing
made.
straight.
Yeah, I will stand straight
He's
and
never
say
stood more erect like in his life. Such.
Okay, all right. Where do we go next? Delhi. There's been the big question we posed even when we recorded our Delhi chatter was Natarajan. Has there been any movement on that front? Are they any closer to deciding whether they
no.
retain Natarajan?
Just about a while ago, I just tried getting a if there was a conclusion reached by the DC think tank, but looks like not yet. The same questions they're pondering over remain the same. The questions they were pondering over a few days ago remain the same. 10.75 crore played one game. What do we do? Are we confident to say that Natarajan can play all 14 matches? Or do we release him and then risk to buy him back, which might be a very risky approach, considering that there are other teams who know that they already know that there will be teams like SRH, there will be teams like Lucknow Super Giants, there will be teams. I think even CSK, for that matter, could be one of them, and probably even RR. These are some of the teams that might want a left-arm fast bowler, and so his price will again come to the same. So, do we want to just retain him for now and play it safe? So that,
Hmm.
yeah, as of this evening, at going into this call, I didn't have any sort of indication that they had made the call either way.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's been a lot of activity for Delhi, right, in terms of trades in or out.
No,
Uh,
they. I mean, of course, outside of the KL or speculation, they were thinking on some. They were thinking about one trade. They were thinking about one trade for sure, and it involved. Apparently, it did involve KL and RR.
yeah,
That's what I was told.
but you've given that a zero on your rumor mill meter that we recorded
No, no,
yesterday.
I'm saying that it never happened. That trade is never going to
Yeah, yeah.
happen.
So
Absolutely.
my
That's what
point
I gave zero.
my point being that I think we've spoken of the high likelihood of Jake Prism-Agurk, who's a 9 crore player going
Yeah.
to the auction. So you don't have to fill. You have
You don't
space
have too many holes to fill here.
and you can therefore keep Natraj. I think one thing they would want is try and get Mustafizur Rahman from the auction because he was good for them last year and he can't be retained because he was a temporary replacement. So if you're trying to get, but I still, I mean, maybe the math is off right now. Nagraj, the purse for the auction remains the same as last year. The
Five
overall
plus five.
+5.
plus five. Sorry, yeah. And for a team that has most bases covered, that +5 is reason enough for you to gamble on one player as long as it's a sort of senior player or someone who could really have a big impact. Natarajan
And
fits that bill. So I would be very
and
surprised if they let him go with the intention of wanting to buy him back cheaper. I don't think that'll happen.
and
That
I'll
would be a
just add to
gamble, and
that
that's
that
why they're discussing that. Yeah.
yeah, I'll just add to your purse bit, Raunak, that they are a team who stand to have upwards of around about 20 crore because you think of JFM, there's also the Harry Brooks 6.25. So just between those two and the additional five, you reach 20 there
Yeah,
itself.
very good point.
So yeah, Delhi do have a lot. I do, among all the players who've been the subject of most question and interest in this last week, Pacers are the common theme, and in particular, Pacers who are in and around that 10 crore mark. So while we're on them, Deepak Chahar at 9.25 crore at Mumbai Indians, and that talk has only increased more when I look at the rumor mill after the Shardul Thakur trade. Anything there?
He's going to be retained.
Hmm.
All right,
There is no. So we can just nip that speculation straight away in the bud and say that he
done,
will be.
done,
Yeah.
open
Yeah.
and shut. Let's
Yeah,
move to the next one.
I
Shardul is, I
think
think, really good cover for Deepak Chahar should they want to go down that route. And if Deepak Chahar isn't also someone who you can guarantee 14 games out of, there might be a couple of games where you need someone. And Wankhede will be a venue for Shardul Thakur. So for those who feel like he's like this big,
Yeah.
really expensive bowler and he's not reliable, I think the venue is very important for a bowler like Shardul Thakur. And he might be a much more sort of useful or utility squad player at MI than a lot of other players, a lot of other venues.
Yeah, lots of potential to use him in the power play when conditions can assist him. So, and that'll allow Mumbai to use their pace battery in different ways. Kagiso Rabada at Gujarat Titans. That's another one of the players. 10.75 crore. Had a troubled season. What's the word there?
I don't have a definitive word, but instincts say that he will be retained. the kind of quality of fast bowler that he is, and always a good overseas fast bowler. Teams always with that kind of a bounce on that kind of a pitch, and with Nehra as the coach, I don't think it would not be a wise move unless there is some sort of long-term injury issue or something. That's a different thing, but I don't think Kahiso has any fitness issues as such. Though, funny enough, he missed out on today's test match because of
Correct.
last minute injury. But that's
Yeah.
he doesn't have any sort of chronic injuries as such. So I think he will be retained. Yeah.
Dustin, how do you imagine Gujarat are assessing the Rabada situation?
Yeah, again, my instinct is that they will keep him. Although they do have decent cover in Gerald Coetzee, who I think was actually underused last season a little bit,
He was
because
excellent.
although he was also unfit
Injured in the
for a
middle.
large
Yeah.
part of the season, and then
Yeah,
he
the
came
thing
on
with
in the end.
Justin, as you remember, the thing with Gujarat is they usually have like 7 bowling options. So there are many
Yeah.
times where bowlers bowl like couple of overs, get a wicket, and then don't do anything. So yeah, but yeah,
Yeah,
carry
but
on.
with Rabada, I expect him to be retained. Although he hasn't, to be fair, lit the IPL on fire since about 2021. So even the couple of seasons before he was at GT where he was playing. Last season, of course, he didn't play, but he didn't have like outstanding figures. But still, the quality of the bowler is such that I don't see who you could get for a similar price in his place.
And it
And then are
is
you, yeah, or are
sorry.
you thinking then that, and also GT don't have that many other holes to fill. So even if you're thinking, okay, I have Coetzee, Prasid, and Siraj, so therefore I don't need a Rabada, where would you really use that 10.75 crores? Like,
Well,
I mean,
well, for what it's worth, I'll jump in on that one because I don't think any of us, and Nagraj, I wanted to know your thoughts on why you did not give us a heads up on the Shafin Rutherford trade to Mumbai
Yeah, I
Indians.
missed by a few minutes. I was on a call and
Okay, he's actually feeling like bad. I'm sorry, I'm just taking the piss. Sorry. Yeah, but anyway, but I think my overall reaction to that was like a reaction of shock in a way
Yeah.
that this is a gift to Mumbai Indians. This
yeah,
strengthens
it's a
them.
strange one, but have they got, Alas Nagraj, have they kind of got a whiff that David Miller is being released? And is that the reason why they've released
no,
Rutherford?
but
Because
they
they are
released
thinking,
Miller first before G. I don't think Miller is the equate. I do not think
Yeah,
GT
but
will look
like
at
no, I'm
the
Miller as
point
a.
asking,
is
will GT
that
go for
there is a
Miller?
so there is a vacuum for a number four, and that's the thing we discussed about GT. The fact that Sai Sudarshan and Shubman Gill played the way they did, and Josh Butler at three, but they had an
No,
excellent season with a very apparent gap, which was just not exploited enough, and they made it to
yeah,
the playoffs.
But
But
but my
That
my my analysis of that, Raunak, is that Washington Sundar is the perfect answer to that, the number four. I mean, he should be
uh,
the number four, and I think that might have something to do with why they're also releasing Sherfane. They might think, in fact, it's better to get an overseas player to bat lower down the order at number 6, 7, which is why I mentioned Miller as a possible
I
target for GT.
I like that. I have no problem with that. I have a few reservations about Washington Sundar as an IPL number four, but it's worth having a punt to that. My only
yeah.
point was why not send Rutherford to the auction because this is a great sort of squad player for MI.
Yeah. Sad.
I don't have an inside info line on that as
Yeah,
to
neither
why
do I. I'm just
they didn't.
reacting.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just reacting. But well
Um,
done. Terrific business from Mumbai Indians. So good on them. What happened? Have you lost the feed or something? Yash?
All right. Now you guys got me. Sorry. I
Okay.
I seem to have dropped
That
off.
silence was very poorly timed.
yeah.
I lost you guys for the last 10, 15 seconds. So are we moving
We
on
didn't
from
lose you. We
Rutherford?
didn't. Yeah.
Okay, wow. Okay. Just to point out, and our friend and dear colleague Matt Roller points out that don't forget that Rutherford's recent international form has been rather unspectacular. Whether or not that prompted GT to let him go, and there has been a lot of the theories that I, for one, will second what Dustin's saying that this perhaps is an indication that there's a bigger batting role coming up for Washington Sundar. Uh, okay, GT done. Am I done? I'm just going to close the thread on Pacers with the one CSK Pacer around whom there has been the question mark over the past week, Matisha Pathirana, whether CSK will take a call, whether that 13 crore, if they're thinking they can send him back in the auction and get him. Thoughts?
Uh, l- I think as of this evening, he's retained. If overnight suddenly they have a change of mind, we don't know. There's always, because on many franchises, for some reason, wait till the last minute to make last minute calls. I don't know what and where it comes from. So we don't know. But as of this evening, Pathirana remains on the CSK squad sheet. So
I'll just go with a barrage of comments coming through about something that Ashwin has cryptically tweeted about, which indicates Pathirana is leaving. Does anyone know what that is, or can anyone?
Is it a little more
What
specific
is
than
it?
that
Wait.
pink
These
photo
are
that was
fan
doing the
comments.
rounds?
These are fan comments coming through that Ravichandran Ashwin has put a tweet right now, and it's a cryptic tweet. You know what? I'm just gonna check it out
Yeah, I'm
myself.
also going to just check here.
Yeah,
So while you check that, I'll pose some of the other questions that are coming for Nagraj. Wanderlust asks Nagraj, is KKR hoping for Rahane to continue as captain?
I wouldn't rule that out unless they have zeroed in on somebody they believe is going to be the captain. Unless that happens, I think they will still retain Rane at least for one more season.
All right. The
yeah. Okay,
second part
so
of Wanderlust.
I've
Go ahead.
just seen the tweet, and it's a picture of Stephen Fleming doing the 10 that he did, I think, for Noor Ahmed at last time's auction,
Yeah.
and another picture of the actor Rana Dugapatti. Sorry if I've got the pronunciation wrong, but I believe from whatever little I remember of my Tamil, then 10 is Pathu, and then there's Rana. So
Is it?
they,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
So unless Ashwin's just having some fun, and you can't put it past Ashwin, but yeah, if okay, let's speculate. If Pathirana is on his way out of CSK, is he going to a franchise or is he going to the auction? That's just what I would ask.
Is
Dustin?
he what? Sorry, say that again.
Is he being traded or is he going to the auction?
If that decision is taken, 100% auction, no trade.
Okay, all right. And
Because
but
I
for
think
what? Yeah, sorry, Dustin, please.
no, I think Pathirana could actually fetch in a mini auction like significantly more than 13 crore even, right? So from the player point of view, he would probably just want to go to the auction unless there's one specific franchise he wants to go to. But I also I don't know. I'm just feeling like it's unlikely that CSK will release him. Not that I know. I mean I'm mainly feeling that because Nagraj is confident.
Yeah, I mean,
Confident about, I mean, this evening it is, but Ashwin is like, he won't kind of put something like that without, I don't know what inside line he has, but
he could
his,
also just be he could just be having fun. He could just be putting Pathirana like he's staying, you know. There we go. So well done to Nikhil, our producer, who's done a brilliant job of getting this up. But that's what Ashwin tweeted 6:54 just before we went live on air. Anyway,
Hmm.
the
All right.
what I will say is that I really hope that CSK give Pathirana another season. I've said this before that his Sri Lanka form is, I don't think, as relevant. This is a guy who got 32 wickets, I think, in 2 seasons when he came in as a base price player. You then retained him for the 10 crore ahead of the big auction, and it's just been one season where he's had a tough season, right? So you don't become a bad player in 1 year. Pathirana was looked at as an absolute no-brainer when we did the retention stuff before the big auction, right? Like, even though this guy's only had a couple of years, he's young, he's not got international credentials, but all of us were of the opinion there is Malinga-esque, Bumrah-esque, X-factor quality, and he's so young that you can afford a bad season. So unless something has really gone down that we don't know of, I'd be staggered if CSK have lost patience or given up on Matisha Pathirana.
and personally, knowing a bit of the stuff that goes around on with these kind of bowlers, franchises won't release these rare skill set bowlers that
Yeah.
easily. There has to be a specific reason. Most of the times it comes to fitness or something, and with Pathirana, it's not. It's an open secret, right? That he has struggled with fitness in that sense. So if CSK take any big call, I don't think they will take it this lightly. That okay, because you have not performed one season or whatever, we are going to take. In fact, this is a franchise that has always believed in giving the long rope when they believe that this player can actually grow or something. So they don't actually.
There's just one unique thing about Pathirana, which we'll remember we discussed during the IPL, and Stephen Fleming had addressed it about him being asked to change his action when he plays internationally, and that's not something that CSK were
Yeah.
very happy with. And if that story has gotten more complex through whatever recently that the CSK management or coaching staff would have addressed with Pathirana, and if they really feel like this is a different bowler, so this is a very rare kind of situation here, and if that is what has led them to believe like we cannot be having to undo so much work every year, and if it's happening the second year, it'll probably happen again. So I really feel for Pathirana this has happened. but the gossip mill on our comment section seems to suggest Maxwell and Pathirana as a trade. So I don't know where the source is. I'm just
No,
putting it up.
no. That
Yeah.
I can assure you, no.
Okay, there
Yes.
you go.
And
Nagraj
also,
has.
yeah, I think on the like on our CS when we did the CSK chatter, there were a few good points made. One is that CSK already have Ellis, so if you count Pathirana and Ellis together, it's costing you just 15 crores. Even if you can take a risk on Pathirana, because even if he doesn't come off, Ellis is a great guy to take that spot. And plus,
Yeah.
as we were doing the calculations, because Ashwin has left, because they're going to release quite a few other players, CSK will have a big purse anyway, right? So
Yeah.
it's not like they need to release Pathirana to free up money to buy in other positions. They will anyway have a purse of probably around 30,
They,
35 crores
Yeah, yeah.
without
We
yeah.
Yash, can
They
you tell the number? Yeah.
Yeah, correct. I mean, we were just trying to tabulate based on all the information which teams could have the biggest purses going into this auction, and CSK's figure, even not counting Pathirana, comes close to 40. Uh, you have to
Yeah.
remember Ashwin was a 9.75 crore player. There is the trinity of domestic Indian batters who together, Vijay, Shankar, Hooda, Tripathi are upwards of 6. With the talk of Conway and Rachin, that's 10 crore there. So you're looking at the 5 that teams get for this auction, and that's upwards of 35, closer to 40. Just sifting through the questions and have to ignore so many because everyone wants to know what the secret behind. Go on, Ronak.
Yeah, but just because before we move on from Pathirana, I'll just throw in that one last one on whether there is some kind of injury or illness that has ruled him out of cricket for a while.
No,
That's be
no,
popping up. I don't
I don't think so. No, no,
expect.
Okay.
not to my knowledge.
now.
There is no.
Can I
He's not injured or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
can
Anyway,
I can
that's
I
it.
complete Yash's sentence? Is are the majority of the comments asking about the secret of Nagraj's hair? Is that it?
अबे
Yes,
चुप ना यार क्या.
there are two specific questions that are repeating themselves, both towards Nagraj. So for question one, I'll answer it on Nagraj's behalf. If you find him on social media, he will reveal all the secrets. So good luck to you if you can find him. Question number two is, can Nagraj confirm the CSK RR trade since it has not officially been announced yet?
The trade has
The
100% happened. 100% happened. This is we are talking about. I'm guessing the Jadeja.
Yes, the Samson Jadeja
Sam
trade.
Curran,
Yes.
yes, yeah.
Your voice was, at least to me, a little muffled when you said that. Could you say that line one more time, please, Nagraj?
The Jadeja Samson Sam Curran trade has 100% happened. I expect the IPL announcement any minute this evening, probably worst case scenario by tomorrow at some point, and it's 100% happened. So there is nothing that is that has changed since we put out this and what the details we have.
Yeah. Could you do that one more time by holding today's
Only thing
newspaper?
I do not know about is the
Yeah.
amount, if at all, has been negotiated between the players. But other than that, I'm highly, not even highly confident, I'm 100% confident that that trade has gone through.
Good man, Nagraj. Good man.
All right. Okay. I see a lot of interest in KKR. So let's go there next. Rahane has been a big theme ever since that season was going on, and in the recent weeks. Is Rahane expected to be released?
You guys discuss. I will just try and ping somebody.
What? Are you serious? Are you leaving us? Nagraj, before this show's over, I want you to just turn your phone towards camera and scan through just your recent call log or your WhatsApp chat log, just for fun.
Are you crazy?
All right. But when we
You
look at
haven't
the
got code names for everybody. You should just do that to really protect their privacy.
Yeah, but
He's
so
typing
let's
them out
talk,
as we speak.
let's talk KKR. Yeah.
I'll throw in one trade which I believe is which I picked up last evening, and I forgot to pass it on to Nagraj, but I think it will be out pretty soon. It's I believe Mayank Markande is heading to Mumbai, or is likely to
Yeah.
go to Mumbai, and in a trade that might see Reece Topley go the other way. So I believe
Can I say something that half of that is not correct, which is the Topley bit.
that's fine.
The
I'm
other
just
half is, yeah, the other half is what is not yet, we don't know. It's probably on the table, but whether it's been sealed, because it could be like, I think there would be various options on the table for
sure.
the franchises involved. So it's not complete as per my knowledge.
But
Mayank
I think.
Markande, sorry.
Yeah, carry on.
From memory, Mayank Markande had a pretty good season at MI a few seasons ago. I think
That's
that's
That
the
was
very.
his
That's
impact.
first
basically
season.
got
Yeah,
noted. He got noted as like
yeah,
wow, one of the many sort of uncapped Indian leggies that
Mm,
got something
Yeah.
about that.
yeah. He got
Yeah.
15
2018.
wickets in the 2018 season. Yeah, for MI.
That
Correct.
that kind of tells me that I think one thing possibly it is one possibility is Karan Sharma will be released then. I think
All right.
this
That's
tallies
surprising
with
because he had a
the sort of information that has been traveling between franchises. I'm basing it on that. So I think probably MI, because MI also have, they will have Allah Ghazanfar coming in. He will play that
Yeah,
lead
and
spinner role.
Vignesh Puthur was
And
excellent for them.
yeah, we don't know where Vignesh Puthu's fitness and all, but I probably think
Yeah.
that Ghazanfar for sure will play, and then maybe MI might want to look at some other wrist spinner. So because this is based on the chats that I've heard on the franchise circuit, so I'm just basing it on that.
I'm I'm a little surprised by that because Karan Sharma was actually arguably the guy who turned MI season last season with that
Yeah,
Yeah.
performance against
he bowled a
DC.
Against Delhi.
single turning point. Single turning point was his wicket of Karun Nair, which literally signaled the turnaround for MI after
Yeah,
5 years.
Yeah.
and he
I
has
think.
pretty decent stats last season. 7 wickets, economy
Yeah.
of 8.5. I mean, of course, the issue is that he's not playing a lot of other cricket, so maybe they're worried
Yeah.
about his fitness. But based on last season, I'm surprised they're considering releasing him.
I don't I actually might think maybe it's one of the things you can assume, but I don't see any downside to just holding on to him. He's 50 lakhs. He's experienced. I mean, he could very well just be in that squad when by the time the releases come.
All right. Where do we go next? Among the rumor questions was someone asking, Rahul Mishra asking, Ravi Bishnoi to Mumbai Indians. Is that a possibility? Anyone hearing
They were,
anything?
it's a quite a good one, a question, but please ask Rahul, where does Mema get that 11 crores from?
Yes, that
Who
is a
should
good
they
point.
release is the question. So to get Ravi Bishnoi, any
All right.
candidates there? Yeah.
Also, while we're on MI, I think Will Jacks seems to be a big player of interest suddenly. I guess Rutherford's trade in has prompted the
Question.
question
Yeah.
after on whether Will Jacks, who didn't really find a comfortable position at his natural position, which is as a top order batter in this very power packed MI batting lineup. In fact, he had quite a role impact with the ball in a couple of games, funny enough. But yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
could see Will Jacks as like a really big kind of high impact player, almost like Phil Salt was. If he finds a franchise that can make him open, he could be a really big
Um,
player. So is Will Jacks on the market?
No.
even if not as an opener, I'd perhaps think his most recent IPL team might be interested because with RCB, the only player being
Yeah.
spoken about as a possible release is Liam Livingston. And if they were to then acquire Will Jacks, then that gives them a number three, gives them some bowling. I know RCB fans are quite excited about a possible reunion with Will Jacks, who's a player they were quite fond of.
I mean, in fact, from what knowledge I have, there were a few queries made by rival franchises for Jacks, but I understand, said no, they are going to be retaining him.
Okay.
So once again, that we have to be at this point. I don't. Yes. In fact, I can say confidently now.
Sorry, Nagraj, you're
I
not very clear.
think we've just lost you. Yes.
Yeah,
Can you hear me now?
yeah.
Yes, we can.
Just
Go
stand
ahead.
like this.
Yeah.
Do that. Keep that position throughout. Yeah.
Um, all right. I've just confirmed Will Jacks will stay.
Oh,
He's
Okay.
going
All right.
nowhere.
Will
Will
Jacks will
Okay,
Jacks
stay.
stay?
I have a question about Mumbai Indians in general, Nagraj. Like, what is the sense you're getting in terms of what they're actually looking for in their squad, or are they really just happy with it? Because
They don't have too
so
many.
far
Yeah, yeah.
the
That's why I
business they've
said
done is all
when
just small trades, bringing in a Rutherford, bringing in a Shardul. So it seems like they're just looking for backups because the
backups
one
more
hole,
than
I
this.
guess, and yeah, I guess with Santner there, they feel like even in the spin department now they're
Yeah,
fairly covered, right? So
yeah.
yeah.
They just want to
The
make
other,
those backup questions, and I think they never had any pressing question. The only pressing question we all thought about would be, would they release Deepak Chahar for somebody? But straight up, when I asked a few weeks ago, they said that no, Deepak Chahar is not in question. He's going to be with MI. So
Yeah.
clearly. So and their core is still the same. Also, what they did was like the replacements, like Corbin Bosch. I think it was he a replacement or he was in
Yeah,
auction
he
buy?
was. He no, he replaced Lizard Williams eventually.
Lizard
Yeah.
Williams. So Corbin Bosch is an all-rounder in that sense. He can bat, so the batting goes deep. So he's a good fast bowler. They enjoyed what they saw of him last season. So he comes in, and of course there is Rickleton. So once again, they didn't need to kind of probably look at getting someone like an Indian keeper batter, which is what they used to have in Ishan Kishan. They must have made that sort of a query for sure, which I think they did. But I think other than that, no pressing uh,
I mean,
The
they
one
also made
question that
Corbin
challenge.
Mills. Sorry, yeah,
Hmm?
Yash.
no, the one question that has propped up about Mumbai Indians after the Sherfane Rutherford announcement is that they would have to balance their overseas. For that, I guess the likely contenders, we had murmurs of Reece Topley, and there's also Bevan Jacobs, who was a player they didn't utilize. So perhaps either one, if not both of those, are the players that go out for MI to meet their overseas quota. Go on, Ronak.
Yeah, I mean, since we were on MI, I mean, he's obviously not going to be retained because he was a temporary replacement. But I'd love to hear on like on Johnny Bairstow. I know he's going to be at the auction, but we keep saying Cam Green as like the sought after player. I wouldn't be surprised if Bairstow is like pretty high up on the wish list. Just throwing it out
And,
there since we spoke of
and the
MI.
team that could look for him could also be KKR
Yeah,
if comes cheap. Yeah, so he could be. Yeah, I mean, though did Bairstow go
That's
unsold last season?
yeah, he did.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that potentially means KKR, if they were to entertain those thoughts, or even if they weren't, they do have a decision to make ahead of this retention deadline around those two overseas keepers. They had Decock, they had Gurbaz,
Yeah.
and obviously the ideal case scenario involves them finding a domestic wicketkeeper who they can be certain of. But chances of one of these two potentially both leaving.
Yeah, or if not, not don't be surprised if they release both of them also. It depends on whether they want to go back to that model that worked with Phil Salt and Sunil Narayan. If
Hmm.
they don't want to, if they, that's the thing. And of course, the keeper batter most likely will have to be a top order batter, and neither of QDK neither, or Gurbaz kind of have satisfied KKR's kind of strategy of having a good power play, robust power play, etc. So maybe Bairstow can become an option or last minute change if they don't think. I mean, there must be one keeper batter they might have identified if they go on to release both of these guys.
Yeah.
Gurbaz, I
I
think,
mean,
is a
yeah,
possible. Yeah,
there's JM Cox, who was player of the series in the
yeah.
100, I think, who's one exciting name. There are a few
I mean,
others, I think, also that I can, yeah.
just to throw a spanner in it, while they might have been very keen to put a lot of their overseas together who didn't have an impact and create like a pretty big person. We mentioned that on the KKR chatter. The spanner in the wheel is Quinton de Kock's return to international cricket with an absolute bang. I know it's ODI cricket, but coming
Yeah.
back with 100, a 50, a 60, a
Yeah,
lot of conversation on de Kock last year was as a player who's now internationally retired. Can he maintain the same, form and bat swing? And it's not easy for a lot of people. So that if he was not playing international cricket, I wonder what that would have done for just the value and impression of De Kock. And now that he's back, and at such timing, less than a month or a couple of months before the auction, I'd be very interested to know if that's made them consider the conversation for a bit longer.
Yeah, I'd imagine if the choice is to keep one of them, the events of the last few months for both players involved might make KKR's decision easier because Ramanullah Gurbaz, who had a pretty solid 2024, he has seen his form fall off a cliff this year. And De Kock, as you rightly point out, Ronak, had that very successful ODI return in Pakistan. Right, where do we want to go next? I guess Rajasthan Royals is the one team we haven't touched upon yet. Of
But
course,
on
they've.
KKR, I mean, you didn't touch upon Rahane, right? I mean, that's the other
Oh,
big
yes,
question
let's
is,
go.
I mean, not in terms of are they releasing Rahane, but just is there any update on what KKR are thinking captaincy wise? Because they haven't been able to pull off a trade now. And I don't see any captains in the auction. Do they have their hands tied now, Naga, in terms of just having to continue with Rahane as captain? Or are there some thoughts about switching to a Narayan or something that then gives you a little bit more flexibility?
I've not been able to speak to a dear friend who's been busy, I think, dealing with making coaching announcements and
Yeah,
most of that. So,
on that, I must say, Venki, Mr. Mysore has been very busy on the support staff recruitment
yeah,
wagon.
it's a complete overhaul there, right?
I mean,
Like
Nair, Saudi,
only
Watson,
Bravo and Nair from last year
Bravo,
stayed,
yeah,
and they went, yeah. But
but that's
Watto is a good buy, huh? Watto is a good buy, as well as Saudi, who's been a French.
okay, this can go to no end if we start discussing coaching stuff. But what I wanted to ask on a serious note on this is, we saw a picture. I think Dr. Goenka posted something on X recently about him and Langer and Moody and Bharat and Rishabh Pant there. You almost know that Pat Cummins has a say on Sunrisers, Hardik Pandya on MI, Shubman Gill in GT. But do KKR involve the captain in their franchise strategy, in their auction strategy? Like, is that one of the franchises that may well not have like Rahane part of the conversation?
Personally, without checking, I suspect not in this case. I
Yeah,
don't think. I think it would be, yeah, I don't think. I think it would be mostly between Nair and.
I mean there
Uh,
are a lot of brains there and some pretty
and
established,
also, some of them are coming, joining news. So probably some of these conversations would have happened before Voto and Saudi took over. So probably Bravo is involved in some
As
of those conversations. So yeah.
as far as their captaincy candidates go, maybe the one likeliest player released could be a captain when he's brought back in Venki Iyer, who was vice captain of the side last year.
Yeah, what about Venki Iyer? He's certainly auction bound, right, Nagraj?
Yeah, I think even Venki Iyer will know that, admit that if he has
But,
not
but
got the
is there,
call by now.
do you think there will be a bona fide bid from KKR to try and get him back cheaper, like a significant bid? Like he will get bids. I have no doubt KKR will get bids. Even if he goes for half the price he went last time, he'll still be among the potential top
Yeah.
buys of auction. So, do you sense that they still want him, but just at the cheaper at a lesser
A
price?
left-hander Indian batter, I mean, it depends what is the competition in the auction pool. I don't see many of them competing against Iyer. But as you said, there will be more than one franchise wanting Venkaiah in there. I can see
Yeah,
wanting Venkaiah because he fits in their middle order for sure.
I,
Uh,
I just think this Venki Iyer is in for a big payday. If he's auction bound,
I
which
don't
he's
think
not,
not 20 plus, but maybe in the double digits.
like I said,
Probably not.
that's very big for us, Nagraj. Just pointing it out.
But
Just
on the point of him being captain, Yash, I kind of doubt KKR would make him captain, especially if they're releasing him and then buying him back in the auction. First of all, I don't know whether even he would want that pressure on his shoulders, to be honest, considering that he had like such a bullseye on his back last season after getting that price and then he didn't quite perform. I would assume that whichever team buys him will not be considering him for captaincy.
Well, going back to the Rane question, let's say and Raunak raised this point in our previous chats. He has been raising this consistently that Rane somehow creates that challenge for them in the top order by batting
Yes.
and being a top order batter. He creates that unique
yeah.
challenge, which there is no other way out. He can't. He either has to sit out, which is impossible. He has to bat. So either he opens or he comes one down. So I think it might be a risk we might think because there is no ready captaincy candidate we see from outside, but don't rule out them releasing him then. And yesterday there was a choice of, I think, Varun Chakravarti became TN's captain
He,
instead Mushtaq Ali, and
for the
that
side
prompted me
Mushtaq.
thinking,
Yes.
are they actually thinking on those lines to KKR? Does that give them ideas that why not make Varun the captain? And I was thinking,
And
it's not a bad call, right? Because he's a regular player,
yeah,
he's a first 11 player. He's one
Yeah,
more.
and he's
I mean,
established now. Yeah.
yeah.
correct.
So he could be one name that.
I, I think it is the captaincy question mark, which is also posing what has today emerged as a lot of questions of interest that will Rajasthan release Nitish Rana? Could KKR be trying a trade deal for Nitish Rana, who has, of course, led KKR in the past?
I haven't heard a trade like that happening or in the works or being approached. I don't know. I don't think so. I think, yeah, I haven't heard honestly.
Hmm.
All right. Can we move to Rajasthan now? They've, of course, made big moves already in this cycle, but questions remain still on those two Sri Lankan spinners. Nagraj, the fate of Hasaranga, Thikshana, what are we expecting?
Uh, Personally, I think Thikshana will be released and Hasuranga retained.
All right, Dustin, Tushar Deshpande, possibly.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
these are the names we had
it's
discussed last
retained.
time. I think Nagraj said that Deshpande is a maybe, right? Nagraj, sort of, they're not
No,
sure.
I thought it was retained. Yeah,
Retained, okay.
I
Yeah,
would. I would.
I guess for Rajasthan, the big question would actually be about the captaincy. Who do they decide now to make captain? Nagraj has pointed out that Jadeja is interested in it, but does that mean that he's going to be the captain? We don't know. There's Riyan Parag. There is, as you mentioned, Yash, Nitish Rana is actually like a low-key candidate to be a captain for RR.
Yeah.
There's Yashasvi Jaiswal, perhaps. So that will be a big question, which
Parag.
they
I,
obviously don't need
Parag.
I,
to answer.
I just wonder if Nitish Rana in the composition of that side might end up actually being a casualty of some of the trades that have happened, because this is now all of a sudden a very left-hand heavy
Yeah,
Rajasthan
Yeah.
batting top
I'm
eight.
hearing Rana is option bound, which I mean I made my opinion on how he's a value player and they should hold on. But I believe whatever is going on there, that's a decision that they've made that Nitish Rana may be on his way out. That's what I'm
Yeah, I
hearing.
think he's going to be
I
released, and for reasons which are different to what I've heard. But uh, going to RR captaincy, just a quick update because I spoke to someone important there. Hopefully, I will be able to put that out
Who
in a couple of
who did
days.
it? Who?
No, don't need to ask who. So,
Go on.
the person said there are about handful of options they have without kind of committing to saying who those handful are, which is us to guess, including Jaddu. So you have Jadeja,
So
Parag,
perhaps
Jaiswal.
everyone in the
Surya.
top eight bar
Yeah, so they
Suryavanshi.
don't want to make that call now, and they want to leave it for a
So
little later.
after all this, it'll be Sam Curran who'll be captain. Who's
He
actually
has captained before.
I think he's a very
He
good
has
captain.
led.
I think he's
Yes.
tactically really sharp, and
I,
when you commit an overseas captain and all that, that's all those
yeah.
issues when if it plays in your team regularly. But yeah, there's no obvious captain screaming out there. I'm just pointing that out. Ravindra Jadeja's attempt at captaincy was not a happy ending when it happened for CSK, and while he's much more mature and senior now, the whole Jadeja as a tactical sort of T20 captain, is that we really don't know. There's no evidence to go
Yeah.
by on that front. Jaiswal has very little captaincy experience.
Yeah,
Riyan Parag has actually got more sort of captaincy experience at the back of last season. And I thought he did all right, Riyan Parag. I mean, I don't think you can judge him either way too harshly. The team was struggling, but I know that a lot of Rajasthan, this is the way you'd review it if you were from inside the Rajasthan boardroom, is there are 4 out of 6 games we should have easily won.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason why we shouldn't have had 8 more points than we did last year. So Riyan Parag did a lot of things right, but at a time where he's still trying to continue.
establish himself, yeah,
Yeah,
as an
whether
all.
he would give him the captaincy, that's one big question mark on him. I heard one more since we're on RR. I don't know if Nagraj can tell me if this was, I believe Akash Madwal, who didn't get a lot of game time with them last year. There might be just a quiet little trade over there. Uh,
Yeah, I think I did hear that. It was potentially going to happen, I thought, but looks like that was
okay.
not good.
Just
It's not correct. But so which means either he's going to be released, probably, if he was put out for trade.
okay.
Though he could be even a backup for Sandeep Sharma, isn't it?
And
Because
and we'll just throw in there. I believe the two South Africans that came in as late replacements, Leandre Pretorius and Andre Berger,
they'll be retained.
are
They'll
they
be
both
retained.
they are retained. They're allowed
Yeah,
to be retained. They want
yeah.
temporary replacement.
I mean, they'll have to make space. Obviously, they will have to release a
Yeah,
certain number.
those are some pretty exciting players if they're fully fit. I mean,
Definitely.
Pretorius will be, but Andre Berger's those are some pretty exciting players. Just putting that out there.
Yeah. But
He was
All
bought
right.
at an
just to
auction
come
a
back
couple
to
of
what
years back before he got injured, right? Burger.
Sorry, what's that?
yeah, I think he was definitely bought in an auction once. I can remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Three,
But on the point about Nitish Rana, I can actually see quite a few teams going for a player like Rana with his experience, and I think what Yash was saying that makes perfect sense. That KKR should actually look to target somebody like Nitish Rana as a captaincy option. He probably fits better into the team than Rahane as a middle
Yeah.
order player. He could be even a replacement for Venkatesh Iyer if they don't end up getting Venki Iyer back. So Rana, I
Just
think, could get a decent payday. Actually, this might be a blessing in disguise for him in some ways.
Just putting it
Definitely.
out there, I think he'll go to GT, or at least GT will show interest in at the auction. Just putting it out there. I don't know why.
Guys, an update based on a little chat I just had. Maybe Rani will be retained.
Oh,
So someone's
did you
watching
get a
us.
text? Yeah.
Well, I don't know whether watching or not, but I'm just like,
You know what? I'm going to get my phone.
I'm not saying that I'm thinking a certain person, but
Amazing.
let's
This is
Okay.
literally Chata live.
All right. Any pings we should know of, Raunak?
Oh no, nothing yet.
Not
So,
yet.
yeah, so
Okay.
far, so good.
All
But
right.
I have been told by our good friend Sudarshanan that my Tamil was spot on. That
Yes.
Pathu is 10, and therefore Ashwin's
Correct.
Pathirana cryptic post is very much
Yes.
Pathirana. Whether or not that is something that is retain or release or what that news is, only Ash will tell us in a few days' time.
All right.
yeah.
How amazing is this? We are nearly 1 hour in, and there's been close to, barring those few questions about Maxwell, there's been not one word on Punjab Kings. Perhaps this is as much of a win of Punjab Kings and everything they managed to do in IPL 2025, not just reaching the final, but we seem quite certain that Punjab Kings, who are always the most active team at mini auctions for the last decade and a half, will perhaps be the quietest.
I think yes. I think barring Maxi, I don't see any big name releases at Punjab beyond that, and they don't. I mean, maybe they might think about Lockie Ferguson. Do they retain him or not? There could be releases like Aaron Hardy types or Kyle Jamieson, which they don't need anymore at the moment. One of them was a replacement player because they also, I think, will
Yeah.
retain Mitch Owen, right? Who came in
Yeah.
late, correct? So
Yeah,
they'll
he was
retain him. So they will have to, make
Is
space for that.
that question was coming up? Is Mitch Owen one of the players who can't be retained,
What?
or was he
No,
was he a last minute?
Maxwell was a fractured finger that ruled him out, and he replaced Maxwell. It wasn't a temporary replacement.
So
after-
All right.
correct, yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was not after the break, post break. So yeah, I don't think
Okay.
Punjab have any serious questions to bother or have any activity to do.
Quick one, Nagraj, on just on Glenn Maxwell. So what was it? I forgot what we decided. Is he on his way to the auction? Is he being considered for a trade? Is he being retained?
I think he dispelled the
Sorry, guys.
CSK rumor
I was just chatting to
entirely.
someone. Say that again, Rana.
Maxwell. What's the news on Maxwell? Retain, release, undecided, auction bound, trade.
He's going somewhere. That destination I will tell you tomorrow.
So it's unlikely that Maxi will be at Punjab, is what you're saying.
Okay, I'll say yeah. Not unlikely he will not be there.
So there you go. That's
All
it.
right.
Just pure speculation. I wonder if
Breaking
RCB are
news.
perhaps a team
Chubbe.
that. Chubbe about RCB or Chubbe about breaking news?
No,
Which
it's your
one?
breaking news. Sorry.
Dustin,
Sorry,
go on.
Dustin. You carry on.
No, I said maybe RCB could be a team that are interested in him, considering that they've had him before, and that's one of the few places where he actually came off. To be fair,
Yeah.
and Livingston.
And they
Then
make
I guess is also a question about whether that means that they then release Livingston, and
Correct.
because they see Maxwell as someone who they can bring in at a lower price point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
All
the
right.
last one I had is Stoinis as a high-priced player who I just assumed will be retained, but just asking the question.
I think there were a lot of deliberations, but I suspect they are retaining him.
All right, I think simple as that.
Okay. So I think
There
that covers.
there was an offer for trade for Stoinis from another franchise and wanted Stoinis badly.
Yeah. And I know one
And-
franchise inquired for the services of Vaishak Vijay Kumar, but that also
Yes, correct. Yeah.
happy to say no to. But anyway,
We should someday put names of players that have been asked for trade, like who are the most sought after players for trade.
you're saying we like this is something I can
So
do.
you.
No, you of course can do.
Okay, but I mean, full marks to Punjab. The point you make, Yash, in all seriousness, really good squad. Close. I mean, so hard that they had to finish second last year, but in a season where the captain and coach were put together for the first time at the back of a big auction, to have a uncapped Indian opening pair be so successful, to have so many uncapped players in that
Yeah.
team, And build a strong bowling lineup with Arshdeep, with Yuzvendra Chahal, Marco Janssen, even Lockie Ferguson. I think Lockie Ferguson's injury actually was a bit of a turning point for them. He had
Yeah.
a very good impact last year. So really good
Yeah.
squad, and I hope they like carry on from there and get stronger. So good on Punjab Kings.
All right. So just as we start wrapping, I want to, from everything we're gathering, let's try and see which will be the team that will take Punjab's place at this auction in the sense of being the team with
That
the
is so
biggest
hard.
purse, the team with the teams that could have the biggest purse going into this auction. And Nagraj and I were trying to calculate some of the figures. We've touched upon CSK earlier today. CSK stand to be anywhere in a 35 to 40 crore range. KKR, just on the weight of Venki Iyer, and then you have the likes of Nokia and Spencer Johnson, one of the keepers. They stand to be at upwards of 40 crore, 42, 44 crore range.
Mhm.
There's Lucknow potentially at 33, and that's not counting Mayank Yadav. So that can go high up. And there's Delhi.
High up or lower?
Sorry.
33 if they retain Mayank Yadav.
So I mean, there are multiple
So I,
slashes. They
I
have
had
to.
I had Lucknow at potentially having up to 50 crore is what I thought, and then the Shami trade has happened, so I thought they were closer to 40. So I'm
So
just
yeah.
trying to.
So okay, yes, my figures
Oh,
don't
actually,
include.
Shami trade we didn't include. Yash. Yeah.
Correct, correct. So
Okay.
that's 10 there. So yeah, Lucknow are based on what happens with, say, a Bishnoi and a Mayank Yadav, who are both 11 crore players who we're not certain of, are again looking like a team 30, 40. And there's Delhi, who, if they do release Natarajan,
Hmm.
could easily be at a 35, 36.
Well, what
So
was the question?
four,
Sorry, I didn't get it.
I was trying to do the math while we are talking.
And all the other
So yeah,
franchises will have less, is what you're saying,
yeah.
right?
So these stand to be the four teams with upwards of 30 crore if they
Hmm.
are to release the players who we think they'll release. All right. Closing thoughts, Dustin. You want to make a
Look,
wacky prediction for the last few hours of this trade window?
not no. I think most of the business is probably already done. I think that yeah, probably it sounds like LSD probably have the biggest decisions to make because they've got a couple of big name players in Vishnoy and Mayank who it sounds like they're still undecided on. With other teams, it's more like one player, but it sounds like other teams are more or less sure, right? So LSD is probably the team to watch.
The two teams for me are KKR and CSK. They seem to be I think they'll grab the most headlines from this retention to auction phase and post auction. For KKR, it is the captaincy issue, which is a massive issue, and the fact that they still have some big holes to fill. How they react to Venki Iyer going into the auction and their own bids, how that affects the rest of the squad that they have to put together. It's still a good team, but they need to cover some bases. And as far as CSK go, man, Dustin and me did this in a little reel the other day. They've done such good business with the Samsung acquisition, and they will still have so much money going into the auction. I
Yeah.
think that is a team really to watch out for. So CSK for me will bully a lot of plays people, and I wonder if that's where Cam Green will end up.
Yeah, and
And
I'll,
that'll
I'll
be
just point out
actually
that. Go on, Dustin.
no, I was saying it'll be kind of an un-CSK like thing to do. It'll be like a very new CSK thing to do to go after somebody like Cam Green because they're not
Why?
usually the team that's going after that. They're not usually the team that's going after that one sought after player and going like
They go,
really
they
high
go,
in terms of their bid.
they go to Ben Stokes the year that they barely played him. That
Yeah,
they
that's
they
years
had
ago.
they
Yeah, but like
picked a
that's ages ago.
it's not
I know,
ages
but that's
ago.
ages ago.
It's
It's
about.
ages ago, Raunak.
It is. It
Old,
is
Yeah.
man.
Can I say
5 years ago.
something? Guys, we
It
have
Yeah.
is 5 years.
time to discuss auction strategy first. Let them release and retain players, and then we can come to this. Yeah.
I
And I don't
Yeah,
have
I
much
knew.
to add. Ronak has summed it up nicely. The two big franchises tomorrow, which I would look forward to, especially is KKR for sure. What move they do, whether they kind of exhaust, not exhaust, whether they kind of remove most of their overseas players, set of players. Most since we have more than hinted that most of them are going to go away because it's not for the purse as much, but from the squad building point of view, it's, I think KKR for me is the biggest one more than. And then of course now Mr. Ashwin has put the cat amongst the pigeons by putting out a cryptic tweet on
Mm.
Pathirana. So my evening is going to be completely busy tracking that. So yeah, I don't know about Pathirana, but that's not a headline news. I want waiting for KKR what they do.
All right, Nagraj, now you can go into the Tahir celebration. We are done. You can run away. You can answer all those calls that have been waiting for
No, I want
you.
to do the Rathi celebration. That is much better.
Which one? Oh, that one in
He's like,
particular.
and I'll
Okay.
be like, there'll be a code of conduct breach. So forget it. Let's go.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. We shall reconvene after all of this is official in less than 24 hours' time. ESPN Cricket 4 Chatter will have you covered once the retention deadline, which is in the evening. So be sure to catch all our coverage on our social platforms on the ESPN Cricket 4 mobile app. Raunak, Dustin, Nagraj, thank you. This was Chatter.
Thanks, Yash.